something I've always been curious about, and I'm in the middle of a situation now where I have a new piece of gear and I'm trying to incorporate that into my workflow, and I needed to get cables to connect it, which brought me down a path of, is a very high-end, custom-made, hand-wrapped digital cable, not analog. Everybody pretty much knows longer cable runs for like a guitar cable is going to just take high end off if it's a drastically long run. That's always going to be the case. But when we're talking about digital cables, there's not a lot of talk about whether it makes a difference. You don't hear a ton about it. So I was curious. So I went down a path of finding a very high-end cable manufacturer, and I'm comparing those to Mogamis. Now the price here, if I use the Mogamis, it's roughly $60 total for 2 cables, because they're short runs and they're AES, and because of where my stuff's connected, it's a very short run of a cable. Now, the high-end cable, we're talking about $700 per cable. Big difference in price. I'm not sponsored. This has got nothing to do with promoting anything. I'm simply running tests to determine what I'm going to keep or not, and I'm sharing it with you guys. By no means am I saying anybody needs these to get a good mix or a good sound or any of that. What I'm basically telling you is, if you're on a certain level, you may want to know whether it makes a difference. So I'm here to find out for myself, and I share with you guys things that I'm doing because that just makes sense for me. So when I go about this, you know, maybe we'll get something from it. These are the tests I ran, okay? And these are the ones that are important to me, so I'm really just gonna focus on these. I ran my typical setup, which is analog summing, and that will have the least effect on these cables, like being a difference maker or not, because when you use analog summing, you use converters for every stereo pair you're trying to send into your summing. So that means if you have a summing situation like me, a Neve 5060, I got 24 channels of summing that gets down to 2 in the summing box, right? The analog domain. That means I'm sending 24 converters into this thing, all right? So 12 stereo pairs of converters. Now, that means only one of these things, one pair, can be affected by these new cables, either Mogami or the customs. Only one pair gets affected. So for example, all vocals. Now, I did a test where I'm using my typical setup, summing, vocals go through the Mogamis, vocals go through the custom cables, but you're hearing the whole mix. I also did a test where I'm basically more of a mastering workflow where I sum in the box, then I send the whole thing out through the Mogamis, through the custom cables, and through my entire chain, which is the Neve 5060, but I'm only going to use one channel. No summing will happen in there. So one stereo channel is going to get the whole mix. Then I'm going to go straight into my Neve Master Bus processor, the Portico 2. Then I'm going to go into the SSL Fusion. Then I'm going to run back in through 2 different converters, okay? One converter is the Burl, which I've mentioned before on the channel. I like to use a lot, the BAD4M. And the other one is the Latte, the JCF Audio Latte. I'm going to run back in through both of those. Now, what I'm sending the entire mix through, in other words, summed in the box, and then the DA to get into all this stuff is the Latte. So that's what you're about to hear. And we're going to see if there's any difference. That mastering workflow is probably going to be the thing with the most difference, because that's getting the entire mix, and the cables are basically sending the entire mix through to my 5060 on the one stereo channel. So like that should be the thing with the most difference. Those 3 tests, let's see what happens. Now, the way I create these tests to do it blind, 2 colors, 3 different colors for 3 different tests. So you see how it's green, you see how this is like whatever color you call this, and then you see how this is yellow, okay, or gold. So the goal for me is to name them randomly and not look at what is the title of the track when I change the names. Then I shuffle them around in some random order, because it doesn't matter what the order is at all. And to be perfectly honest with you, I did a whole nother mix between this and this, so I have no idea what I named each track, and I have no idea what order they were in to start with, so I just kind of randomly shuffle them around, and all I'm looking at is this. Now, what I know is my 3 tests I described that I did are based on the colors. This is one of the tests, this is one, and this is one. I'm going to listen to one track, and then listen to the other, and then try to pick if I can hear what sounds better on each of these, and I do the test a couple times. So in other words, like I'll pick which is my favorite here, then I'll go down the line, and then I'll basically change the names, do it again, and I'll try to get it done 3 times and see if I can get it right by literally each time seeing if I can get it right 3 times in a row on each of the tests. That, to me, means I have enough of a chance if I've gotten that I can clearly hear a difference. If I can't hear a difference or I get it wrong, then I can't hear a difference. So in other words, I'm going to guess, and if I get it wrong and I don't get it right 3 times on all of them, then I obviously can hear a difference. I'm just guessing. And that's not what we want. We want to be able to hear a difference. And the bias that we all experience as humans means we could trick ourselves into thinking we hear a difference just if we know what it is. So I changed the name so I don't know. I can't see the track names, and now we're going to run through it. So here we go, and I'm going to go through different speakers. That's what, if you see me reaching and stuff, I'm going to swap through from my NS10s to my Barefoot 01s. I'm going to change the speaker profiles on the Barefoot 01s, but I'm just going to bounce back and forth through different parts in the song. So that's what's going to be happening. Here we go. And I'll tell you what I think when I'm done. All right, we're starting with Dodger. We got Dodger and Roger. This is summed in the box, then through the Latte, then through the Neve 5060, then through the Master Bus Processor, SSL Fusion, back in through the Latte. That's what this first yellow test is here. Here we go. Fast forwarding to a different place in the song. Fast forwarding even more. I think Dodger's the better cable, but we're going to see. I'm going to fast forward through another spot. I'm also going to check different speakers before I know for sure. It's not a huge difference. It's just like a 5% difference, but I hear some. All right, let's get to the next part of the song. Every part of the song is going to like showcase different elements, so that's why I do this.
The hazard is the waste lies.
In other words, you get more high end or
The hazard is the waste lies. The hazard is the waste lies. The hazard is the waste lies. The hazard is the waste.
it's super close. That's what I said. I'd say between 3 to 5%. Now I'm leaning towards Dodger. I mean, I'm Roger being the one, and that's like not what we want to be. All right, now I'm leaning towards Roger's the one, and like this part, it's really, I hear more low end on the Roger than the. Right here, the Roger sounds way more open than the Dodger. Let's listen to. It's got to be Roger. I mean, this is getting clearer. The more dense parts of the song are more clear to me on what the difference is. Now let's go to this. Wow, that's close, man. I'm going to say Roger's the one. Let's see if it is the one. Roger. So let's just note this. We're going to check them all when I'm done. All right. Roger or Dodger. Roger is my choice for the better cable. Roger feels better. You know, of those first couple ones, I don't know what I was honed in on, but Roger feels like it. It's a little bit of a cover or a squeeze. It's hard to describe exactly what it is that I'm hearing, but that's what I'm hearing. I'll also change the speakers back to the NS10s. I couldn't hear it as well in the NS10s. Let's hear it if I can this time, now that I'm convinced it's Roger. I'm also going to manipulate my trin off. Hold on. Trin off. Different setting on the trin off, just to see if that cues me into anything. I'm still definitely going with Roger now. You know, the Trinov preset is just a thing for if I raise or lower the chair, and like it changes where the sweet spot is because it moves my ears a little bit. So I have one set for low and one high, and this is set for high when my chair's all the way up here. And then if I lower my chair significantly, you know, or if I'm slouched back, you know, it's like a whole different setting as far as the Trinov goes. It's like the sweet spot moves when you move, so that's why I do that. But bottom line, yeah, Roger feels like it. So not big. I mean, we're really talking about a small difference, but you know, does every bit matter? For certain people, it does.
Dream.
Now, by no means does this mean that this will save you from getting your mix right, or, you know, where it sounds good. You got to still do that. But once you've gotten that, you know, does that extra 3 to 5% help? I think some people would tell you it does. So here we go. A lot of guys are fighting for that last few percentage points. So. I'm going with Roger. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it doesn't. Here we go. Let's see what it is. Ready? Roger or Dodger? And the answer is Roger is the custom cable. So I was correct on the first test. Roger is the custom cable. Okay, that's interesting. Now, I didn't look at what the other ones were. Maybe you guys did. What I plan on doing for the next test, in case anybody saw anything, we're going to change these up to bean, and actually there's already spleen and mean here, so bean and freen. Okay, we got freen and bean, and you know what, I'm going to change it up again. Nebula and hebula. Perfect. Then over here, we're going to, instead of spleen and mean, we'll go grass and frass. All right, now Dodger and Roger, we're going to change these two to make it tremolo or tremolo. Okay, tremolo. And Talladega or Talega. I forgot a D in there. Talladega. There we go. Now, like I said, we're flipping, we're flopping. It doesn't matter what order they're in. It doesn't matter at all. And a lot of times I'll change the names and then change it. Like, see how it says Nebula, Hebula? You know, I could go in and rechange the names. But the point is, I'm trying to make it where we don't know what's what. And I already don't know. So if you guys know, it's like, you know, you're really good at that game where you hide the pee under the cup, I guess. But here we go. Now, let's do this. So I'm basically, we already did this test. Let's move to this test. This is everything summed in the box, then through the latte into my whole chain, back in through the burl. All right, that's this test with this color. So let's see what we think on this one. Here we go. Move to a different spot in the song before I make a guess. That is close, man. Go to another spot. All right, this is a hard spot to tell what is what, so we got to get out of this spot. Going to a different spot, hitting rewind on the jam. Here we go. Let's get back to that verse chorus action. That's what we need. Some of that melody stuff. It's like no matter what I do, I'm stuck in this section. Markers on the song would have helped a little bit here. Wow, there's a difference here. could tell you what I'm leaning towards, but curious what you guys think. So now's your time to weigh in on this one before I do, and then I will weigh in, and then we'll call it.
Last night that I thought I could.
Change speaker profiles again.
Last night that I thought I could. Last night. Last night that I thought I could.
All right, I'm going to call it. Hebula is the better cable. I think Hebula is the custom cable. When I say better, I mean the more expensive one. It's yet to be determined whether it's better or not, but when I'm saying better, I mean the one that's more expensive, assuming that should be better because it's more expensive by a long shot. I know that goes against some people's grain, but the point is, I'm trying to see if it justifies the cost, so when I say better, that's what I mean. And I don't know yet if it's the case. I haven't looked, but when I listen to Hebula, it just sounds a little more open, Hebula, than the Nebula, the one next to it, okay? Hebula, this one with the H, feels right to me. Let's see. Just feels a little more open, like less squished, a little more on the top, just a little bit. Like everything gets to breathe a little. That's just you don't even need much to determine this. Like that's why I keep hitting play from the same place. Because as the song goes, the song's going to fluctuate from, with compressions, all sorts of things happening. So it's going to change what we're hearing. So you can't really judge by going back and forth while the song plays. You have to hit play and then judge from one spot. And listen to the next other one from one spot. And then back from one spot. That's kind of why I do it this way. All right. Because otherwise, there's too many things changing to determine which is different. You understand what I'm saying? If as soon as the spot in the song changes, now you're not judging from the same place. You can't tell really. Here we go. It sounds like there's a slight cover over this Nebula, whereas the other one, the Hebula, is not. It's more open. That's what I feel. Here we go. Try it one more time. It's very subtle, but it's there. Let me see. Go flip to the next one. This is, speaker-wise, I went to my NS10s. Here we go. Fast forwarding a little. Hebula. I'm going with Hebula. This one seemed a little more obvious for some reason, but Hebula, let's determine what it is. Hebula is wrong. Hebula is incorrect. It is Nebula. Hebula is the WBC Mogamis. So I got that one wrong. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Let me just go back to listen again to make sure it is, I just want to see if I could hear a difference now that I know. I'm just curious. Because I got that wrong. Let's be real here. Yeah, I guess. Okay. It's so slight. It's so hard for me to tell. I'm almost thinking the speaker profile may have hurt me a little bit too. Let me flip back. Curious if this makes a difference. Okay, flipped the speaker profile back to the lower setting, which means I was slightly slouched when I did this measurement. So let's hear this. Just curious if I can hear a clearer difference now. Yeah, there's no question about it. I just determined at least that I like this trim off. It's so slight. It's really slight. So close. I can't say that I would get that right a second time even. It's like I can't lie and say that that would be the case. This is really close in this one. I almost feel like it was easier to tell on this one, but let's move on to the summed version. Now this, all you're listening to is the vocals, but again, let's do this and make it Troy and Foy. And we're going to flip these around, flip these around, flip these around. You know, Troy and Foy, I don't know, like, obviously, I'll change it again. Box and socks. That way, I mean, literally, I'm just trying to mess myself up so I have no idea. My brain doesn't, you know, unconsciously remember what I saw on the last screen kind of thing. That's all. And right now, I have no earthly idea which is which. So hopefully you guys don't either. And just for good measure, Tricks and Bix. Okay, here we go. I know what you guys are all thinking there. Okay, here we go. This is the analog summed version run through. Basically, the only thing that's going through these cables is the vocals. All the vocals are going through the cables. So let's see if that makes a difference that we can really hear or not. Here we go. My gut's telling me Bix is the way to roll here with the better cable. We need to par with vocals or it doesn't do nothing for. That's a tough one, man. Sorry, wrong test. Here we go. Tricks and Bic. Man, that is close. So close. I mean, for that kind of money, you want to think no matter what, you'll be able to tell the difference. Like, no matter what, at all days of your life, at all moments in time, you should be able to hear the difference.
It's funny you mention it. Feeling, I think I've been again. It's funny you mention it. It's funny you mention it. It's funny you mention it.
I'm just focused on the vocals.
It's funny you mention it.
I'm just like zeroing in mentally on the vocal sound because that's all that's being sent through these cables. So for this particular test,
If you ask me where I was, if you ask me where I was,
now I'm changing my mind.
if you ask me where I was,
No, you know, I think I'm gonna stick with Bic.
if you ask me where I,
That's super clear.
if you ask me where I,
This is super clear.
if you ask me where I, if you ask me where I, if you ask me where I, if you ask me where I,
I'll tell you, the Tricks does sound a little more open now. Now, for some reason, I'm feeling that it's a little more open. And the fact that I bounce around like this means that any given part of the song is giving me different information about which is which.
warning, the hazard is the waste.
Fast forward to the vocal.
Eyes ahead of your base. Eyes ahead of your base. Eyes ahead of eyes.
There's the least difference of everything on this, obviously, because there's only vocals being sent through it. But wow, talk about little difference. I think most people in a mastering workflow would hear more of a difference. Like, that's why we heard a little more on the other ones. As soon as you start summing, you're taking away a lot of the difference. Because there's so many other cables sending everything here that, like, this one, you know, particular group doesn't shine so much like a huge difference within the context of a whole mix, and 22 other converters sending things without these cables on it, you know, the custom cables, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go with Bix. Bix feels like the one, you know, it's really hard to, like I said, it's hard to tell on this a lot. Let's flip to the NS10s just to make sure before I look at it, but Bix is my thought. That's my thought. The reason I say that is because the vocals seem to stand out in a way that's like a little more clear than the rest as soon as I listen to Bix. And whereas this one, everything sort of, it blends more together. And the reason being is because everything's a little less clear. So here we go. So close, though. I mean, we're talking about like nothing, honestly. It's like another doubtful thing. Bix is my call for this one. Let's check it out. Bix is the custom cable. Okay, so on these three tests, if you're taking a tally, I got the first one right, I got the second one wrong, and I got the third one right. So far, out of three tests, I'm 2 for 3 on calling the correct cable. Now, like I said, we're going to do this again. So this is a long video, but it's mostly because this is for me. And if you guys get something great out of it, great. But bottom line, you know, we'll see. Now, we're going to change the names. This is part of me being confused because you may have seen what it was just now, but after I make this, you know, gopher and this one nofer, you know, and I flip them around, you know, we're flipping, we're shuffling. Let's change, while we're at it, we'll change this to gross and snos. Okay, gross and snos. We're going to flip these, move them all over. Okay, and over here, we're going to go hiccup and trick up. Okay, hiccup and trick up, and we'll move these around now. Just in case you think you still have it, you're good at 3-card Monty? That's the name of that game. You're good at it? Oh, yeah? Well, how about now when I go cat and Matt? What about that? And what about now if I go dog and wog, or wafug? Okay, and then over here, we're going to go floose and bloose. All right, so now maybe you have no idea what's what. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. I don't know about you. You know, maybe you're good at 3-card Monty. But anyway, I have no idea, which is all I care about. So here we go. Cat, Matt, Wafug, and Doc, you know, or whatever. So here we go. I have no idea which was which now. So I've moved them all over. Blind test. Start with the latte, through the whole thing, back in through the latte. Here we go. Making it happen. Start with this one.
Morning, I had a dream last night. Morning, I had a dream last night. Morning, 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 morning.
Fast forwarding.
I could fly way up into the sky. I could fly. I could fly way up into the sky. And if you ask me where I was, I'll tell you I was there. I could fly. I could fly way up into the sky. And if you ask me, I could fly. I could fly way up into the sky. I could fly. I could fly. I could fly.
Oh, I have an idea of what I'm leaning towards.
I'll tell you I was there. If I, I'll tell you I was there. If I try to cover up, I'll tell you I was there. I'll tell you I was there. I'll tell you I was there. I'll tell you I was there.
Now I'm trying to listen to every part of the mix. Like, that's why you may hear me play it 3, 4, 5 times. I'm focusing on different elements each time to try to hear where I hear it different. In other words, I'm focusing on the vocals, then I'm focusing on the drums, then I'm focusing on the snare, then I'm focusing specifically the snare, the guitars. I'm like trying to move around to see if there's a clear difference as I flip. Fast forwarding to another part. All right, my call on this one is Matt is the right one. I'm just going to go to another place in the song to make sure, but in other words, Matt is the custom cable in my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. Here we go. It's just like a little bit bigger. That's what I'm hearing. Let's see if I'm right. First, one more place in the song, just so to be sure. And if anyone thinks they hear a difference or not, this will help you too. It's subtle, but I think Matt. Let's listen, check it out. Here we go. Matt is the one I think is the custom cable. What do we got? Matt, custom cable. All right. I'm 3 for 4. Not terrible. Okay. Now, let's see, so this bodes for there is a little bit of a difference if I'm sort of being able to pick it out 3 out of 4 times. All right, but let's keep going. Like I said, I'm not going to be satisfied until there's 9 different tests that have occurred here, basically 3. Is it 4, 5, 6? Yeah, 7, 8, 9. Right, exactly. 3 times we have to go through it. Now, let's change the names of these in case anybody saw them. So we have dog and wog, but you know what we're going to have? We're going to have hog, and this will really confuse you, smog. Yeah, hog and smog. We'll move them around. We'll flip them. We'll flip them. We'll flip them. We'll flip them. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. I don't know if I grabbed it or not. I don't know if I grabbed it or not. Okay, here we go. And we're going to go blue and clue to mess it up even more of this. Okay, just in case you saw these, smop. Okay, and plop. We love a good plop. Okay, here we go. Now, it's got that weird character. Didn't mean for whatever that character is. Okay, smop and plop. And then maybe a last second change here. Change and mange. Okay, now let's do it again. And also, why don't we go frog and splog. Okay, now nobody knows what these are anymore. Flipped them around. Nobody's got any idea. I certainly don't. So let's listen to test this next test. Ready? Remember, everything out through the latte, through the whole chain, back into the burl. Here we go. Need another part of the song. Another part of the song. It's a very dense part of the song. It's not a terrible place to judge things. Changing speaker profiles. Getting an idea of what I think. This is a tough one. I don't know if it's because the burl itself on the print side is less clear than the latte is, but it seems to me to be the hardest to tell, like on this one compared to the latte out and in. You know, I don't know what it is, but there's some reason that's accounting for why it's harder to tell on this one than the other one, because the other one was pretty clear for me instantly. This one's a little harder to tell. Let me go to the NS10s. My gut is telling me change is the better cable, the custom cable, but I got this one wrong last time. This was the only one I got wrong in the last test of the 3 different tests. So, you know, I'm doubtful of my ability to really hear a difference here. It's not like I hear the biggest difference. Again, 3 to 5%. I mean, if I had to say that's what I'm hearing, that's about it. And this part of the song, it's like as soon as I get to this part, so funny how moving an inch or two lower or higher really changes how you hear. I mean, it's so interesting. The sweet spot is not that big, honestly, in general, but that's just how, maybe it's just my speakers and the way it feels for me, but it just feels like the sweet spot is, as soon as I'm in it, I feel it, and then if I move a little low or a little higher, it's just all messed up. Yeah, change feels like the one. It just feels like a little more on top and bottom. Just a little more width. All right, change is the one I'm going to guess. Let's go with change. Here we go. See if it's correct. Change is the WBC. Got it wrong again on that print. Interesting. I mean, we can't deny how interesting this is. That for whatever reason, to me, in my ears, the difference is minimal when I print through the burl. The burl is doing something that's making it less obvious to me, because the only difference is here between these two is what the print converter is. On the dark green, it's the burl that's the print converter, and on the yellow, the gold or whatever, it's the latte. And on these, it was pretty clear, or at least more clear. I wouldn't say it was night and day, but it was more clear. All right. Whereas on these, it's not. It's definitely not more clear. I mean, I got it wrong twice, so call it what you will. All right. So that's interesting. 3 for 5. Let's see what happens on the 6th test. Now, don't look at what those are, but doesn't matter anyway, because I'm about to move them around. But before I do, we're going to call it grope and nope. Grope and nope. Move them around, move them around, move them around. And then maybe this will become hickey and sticky. Okay, hickey and sticky. Now, hopefully you don't know which is which. I certainly don't. I also didn't look, so if you're looking, you're doing yourself a disservice for this test. But maybe when I go nostril and postril, you won't know the difference now. Hopefully. We'll see. Moved them all around. Okay, let's see which we like better. It's either, nostril and postril facing off. And remember, this is the least difference, so I'll spend the least amount of time messing with this because in the summing workflow, all we're listening to is the vocals that have been, that's the only thing that's different between this one and this one. It's vocals through one of the cables and the vocals through the other one of the cables, you know, custom and Mogami facing off, but only the vocals is what we're focused on this test. Here we go.
I think I've been dreaming
Got to get to a place with more vocals. Different speakers. It's an interesting one. It's not a huge difference here either. Talk about something that hurts your brain. I mean, it's just something about when you don't hear the clearest difference, it's like you're working out your brain trying to figure this out. I'm thinking nostril is actually the better converter. I'm just gonna make sure, flip through a few things. Let's hear, I mean, I don't mean converter, the better cable. Getting a little mind bent. So I do think my gut at the moment's telling me nostril. Let's hear again. Really close. You know, I have to say, if I intend to keep working in the summing world, it really doesn't make the biggest difference whether I get these good cables or not. It's really if I decide to change my workflow and eliminate summing that I would really consider these, because and honestly, it's actually also opened my eyes to how clear and clean that latte is, to even be able to decipher it. Like, I'm relatively confident when listening through the entire mix, summed in the box, then through the latte's DA, then through the chain, back in through the latte. At this point, after having guessed right twice, I'm a little confident I'm going to get it right the third time. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but you know, because I'm about to do it. But first, it's just, if I was going to go print through the burl, I could barely hear a difference. So in that case, I don't know if it makes any sense. And then in the case of if I'm analog summing, I'm not sure if it makes any sense, because it's just one of a bunch of parts that don't really add up to maybe being worth as much of a difference. Like, if it's a 3 to 5% difference on the whole mix, it's even less than that on the summing portion, and I'm not sure if that's justified. But again, just my opinion, and just in my specific situation, in my room, my test, my ears, the specific sound source, you could have completely different results. So keep that in mind. I'm by no means saying this is the answer. I've said before, there is no answer. Nothing in audio is black and white. So this is just how I feel today, and my opinion could change. So let's listen again.
Last night that I thought I could. Last night that I thought I could. Last night.
Yeah, nostril's the one I'm thinking it is. So since I've chosen nostril a few times now, I'll make sure it is nostril. Let's check. Nostril, I believe, is the custom cable. Let's find out. Custom cable. So okay, so I'm 4 for 6, and the one that I didn't get right each time was the burl print, the one that prints through the burl. For whatever reason, I'm not getting that one right, but these other ones I am getting right. I wonder why that is. I'm not sure, but you'll also notice there's a little bit of a level. Like, I tried to match the levels to themselves so that I could do a test after I'm done with all this, where I basically compare the summed version to the version, the analog summed version that's being summed in the 5060, 24-2, comparing that to my in the box summed version, which then just sends the entire mix through the latte's DA and then through everything back in through the latte. I want to compare those two because, you know, my gut tells me I should, to determine if I really think, like, I always believed analog summing is so key to my sound and making me sound, you know, my mixes sound as good as possible. But, you know, if I can't tell the difference between the one through the latte and the analog summed, if I can't get a clear decision on what I like better there, then I'm not sure it is. So that's a whole another bag of worms, can of worms. Anyway, here we go. Let's figure this out. So don't look at what anything is. I'm going to go in, and this is our final test because we've done 6 so far. If you're still with me, then good on you. You probably really care about this stuff. We're going to go goon and boon. But before I do, in case anybody saw, we're going to do a little mix up, and you never know, with me, I could very possibly change the names again. So that's how we do our 3-card Monty here. We keep it moving. All right, so I move these all around, and over here we're going to go cran and span, and over here we're going to go bop and trio. Bop and trio. Okay, so we got boon, goon, span, cran, bop, trio. Now, move these around, just going to keep moving them a little. You never know where it's going to end up. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? Under the cup. Okay, and over here we're going to go grop and We did plop already. Come on, be more creative than that. Okay, cloud. Grop in cloud. Nope. We're going to go rain in cloud. I like that better. Now over here, we're going to go snow and dough. Okay, and over here, we're going to go froom and vroom. Okay, well, that's a little too close for my liking. So how about stop and go? Okay, so we got go, stop, snow, dough, cloud, and rain. Let's see if anybody remembers these. I'm sure there's somebody out there who still knows what it is. I don't, and that's all that I really care about. I did my best to confuse you guys, so if you studied the last page I was on, bad on you. All right, here we go. Rain and cloud. Let's keep it moving. The good old test latte. Back to the latte. Here we go. Going one, here 3 times. Here we go. Third test. I gotta check other things, but I already sort of have an idea. I'm not gonna tell you what I think in case you guys are playing along. Different part in the song. Different part in the song. You really have to move your ears have to be focusing on all the different things to pick up where the differences are. That's really what I think. A lot of people, this is the other thing I want you to know. If you don't hear a difference, it could be a few things. One, it could be the codec on the way this is being recorded. Like I record everything through OBS, and who knows what that's doing. You know what I'm saying? It could be ruining the sound quality a little bit for you guys. Generally, it works for all my videos, and that's what a lot of people do. So I don't understand maybe why that wouldn't work, but you know, I think this is so much of a subtle difference that could be why. So don't blame your ears if you can't hear it. Maybe that's why. Also, when you upload to YouTube, you're basically creating the video file in like Final Cut, and that becomes this like, you know, video file .mp4 or whatever, and then that gets uploaded to YouTube, which gets codeced and all sorts of stuff on the upload. So maybe that's making your listening experience worse. All I know is there could be a number of things. So I don't want you to be hurting yourself or blaming your own ears or do anything like that. Don't do anything crazy. Bottom line, if you can't hear it, it's possible. It's such a subtle difference that it doesn't translate through the video. But if I'm able to pick it right all these times, I'm not that lucky, bottom line. So I'm obviously hearing something. So, you know, that's all I'm going to say about that. Here we go. 'Cause I don't care. I like the attention. It's funny. 'Cause I don't care. I like the attention. 'Cause I don't care. I like the attention. You mention it. You mention it. I gotta. You mention it. I gotta feel. You mention it. I gotta feel it. All right, another second. Get your votes in, get your votes in. I'm thinking Cloud is the one. Now, I thought it from the beginning. I think Cloud's the one. Let's determine if it is. Cloud custom cable. Did it again. See what I'm saying? I think I hear the difference. Are you telling me I just get it right, you know, on that one every time out of 3 different tests on this one specific? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But, you know, we're talking about, what was I? I got this wrong twice. I got the rest right. So I was 4 for 6. Now I'm 5 for 7. It's not bad. Only got these wrong. Now, don't look at what it is. I'm not looking at what it is. I also want to do this. I've actually trained myself to not look at the, what do you call it? On the other page, I trained myself to not look at the track names, just so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, now, again, let's just make it Apple, Papple, Orange, Porange, okay? Let's actually make it Stew and Grub, okay? Stew and Grub, move those around. Let's make this Nurse and Purse, okay? Let's make it Nurse and Purse and then change it to Olive and Branch, or Brance. Here we go, Branch, okay? Olive and Branch. Now, I've been moving them around as we go, so hopefully nobody has kept track. Change it again, just in case you have kept track. Mud and Dud. Now, the reason I'm changing the names like crazy is so hopefully nobody remembers anything. I mean, literally just by keeping to change the names, it's like, even if you think you got it, now you don't. 3-card Monty. Here we go, Mud and Dud. Keeping it moving. One more for good measure. Drink and Tea. Haha, the English will love it. Here we go. Let's keep this moving. I already have an idea, and I didn't before. This is a new one, actually, for me to have. It was the clearest on that first part of the song I was listening to. It gets harder. It's like if I just called it on the, I wouldn't be giving. I want to make sure I can hear a difference before I don't want to just guess based on the first second that I'm listening. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm taking the time to do this. And that's why this video is abnormally, absurdly long, probably. Here we go.
Warning, the hazard is the way. Warning, the hazard is the waste. Warning, the hazard is the waistline. Warning, the
All right, I know what mine is. Get your votes in. Votes in.
Warning. Warning. The hazard is lies.
Let's get a little closer to something.
Lies.
Let's go with that fast forward. Yeah.
Morning. I had a dream. Morning. I had a dream. Morning. 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 I had a dream last night. Morning. I had a dream last night. Morning. I had a dream last night. Morning. Morning. I had a
All right, votes are in. Votes are in. Last one to listen. Here we go.
up into the sky. Nip, nip, up into the sky. Nip, nip, up into the sky. Up into the sky. And if you ask me where I was, up into the sky. Up into the sky. Up into the sky.
Man, tough to hear. Not gonna pretend it's not, but
And if you ask up into the sky, up into the sky, up into the sky. And if you ask yeah, if I try to cover up, you're gonna call me out and stay, yeah. Well, it's up, yeah, if I try to cover up, yeah, if I try to cover up, yeah, if I try to cover up.
I'm gonna say my guess right now. So hope you guessed it. I'm thinking it's drink. Drink feels right to me. Let's check it out. Is it drink? Did I get it right? Here we go. I got it wrong again. So whatever I am thinking is better, for some reason, through the Burl print, is unknown. It's not right. It's not what I've gotten it wrong 3 times now. So this one I cannot seem to get right no matter what I do. That says a lot about a lot of things that it's interesting to me to think about. The fact that it's possible that the Burl is coloring it almost so much that I can't hear a difference on the cable feed part of it at all. It's making it where everything is just sort of the same. I don't know. I can't understand it. I don't know why. That's just my interpretation of what I'm hearing is everything gets cluttered. So in other words, like I hear a more open sound. That's what I'm picking out when I pick the cable on this test, the latte test. It just sounds a little more open to me. Something about a little more space. Now, it's not extremely obvious, but when I flip around through the different instruments, like mentally as I go through the song, I'm listening to snare, drums. It just sounds like there's a little more air on it, a little more low end body to it. I'm just hearing it open up a little, like a little less covered or cloudy. That's really it. But again, small difference, like 5%, something like that, give or take. And I hear the most of the difference on this. And the latte's AD is supremely clean. And the DA is a full, amazing, great, like their motto, the JCF audio motto is ruining audio less. I mean, I can't think of a better motto. If like I spent the next lifetime thinking of one, I probably couldn't come up with anything better than that. Especially to describe what this sounds like, because I'm able to hear a cable through that, and through this, I'm not. And the Burl converters are great, but I'm unable to hear a difference. Whereas this I got right every time. So, and this I got right so far twice. Let's see if I get it right on the third one. First, let me mix it around. Mix it around, mix it around, mix it around. Let's change it to frolip and wallop. Mix it around, mix it around, mix it around, mix it around. And then let's make it umbrella and distrella. Okay, here we go. Now let's make it rejoice and demise. Okay. Or demis. Can you tell it's super late right now? I don't know if you know this, but it's 4:41 a.m. at the moment while I'm doing this test. And there's a bug that's insistent on being in my face. Get out of here. Get out of here. This time of year, it's supremely like muggy and stuff outside, but in here it's cold because I like it cold. But that bug doesn't know what's good. It's somehow found its way in here and it wishes it didn't. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Demise and rejoice. Oh man, I didn't want to look at that. I didn't actually look at the left, but I didn't want to flip the screen. Now I have to change it again. Okay, let's go with grasshopper and trash hopper. Okay, and then let's go with symbols and city. Okay, now hopefully we're 3-card Monty'd up all day. Tree trunk and me trunk. Okay, let's go with that should be enough. I think people are confused enough. Maybe Dre and Metro. Okay, let's try that. Let's go with let's see if that works. Let's go with lead and Angus. Okay, lead and Angus. That's what we're going to stick with. Let's see which is which. Now, remember, this is just summing, so this is actually the least difference of all of them, even though somehow I managed to get this right so far. I'm just focused on the vocals. That's all I'm focused on. Here we go. And this is analog summed. Then just vocals are sent through those cables that we're testing in through the whole chain. Here we go. I just realized, and it's worth mentioning, that the print of this analog summed whole thing is actually through the latte. Yes, the print of this is through the latte, which is interesting. Is it? I don't know. I'll tell you that afterwards. Actually, I could write through this. No, the burl is the AD. Okay, so the burl is the AD. And by the way, this doesn't tell me what cables are on it. I made sure it wasn't there, so it's not like anybody could get anything from this. It doesn't tell you what cables are there. So that's interesting. It's through the burl AD. So that's the really weird. So in other words, I'm not able to tell when I'm running everything through the whole setup and then printing through, like summed in the box and then printed through the burl. I'm not able to tell. But analog summed and printed through the burl, I am able to tell. That's interesting. I've also only gotten it right twice. Let's see if I get it right the third time. Here we go. Remember, just focus on vocals. Who let the windows open? Fast forwarding to the next spot.
Well, it's alright, 'cause I don't care. I like the attention. It's funny you mention it. I'm feeling, I think I've been dreaming. Well, it's alright, 'cause I don't care. I like the attention. It's funny. Well, it's
Just focusing on vocal.
Got a feeling, I think I've been dreaming. Got a feeling, I think I've been dreaming. Got a feeling, got a feeling, I think I've been dreaming. Got a feeling, I think I've been dreaming. Got a feeling, I think I've been dreaming.
I am definitely hearing something. I'll tell you in a second so you guys can get your votes in. Votes in, votes in. Where's more vocals? Motherfucker! I gotta do these again because I didn't see which is which, but I don't want to know either, and I just changed the stupid channel. Grow and snow. All right, let's do this test now. We're gonna be changing these to heen and bean, spelled like weird. Okay, heen and bean, moving them around, moving them around. Let's change this to Nas and Boz. Okay, move that around, move that around. Change this to Umbro and one. Okay. Change this, moving it all over, moving it all over. Change this to Funyuns, however you spell that, and Doritos. Doritors. Doritors. Okay, here we go. Funyuns and Doritors. Let's do it. I think I moved these around enough, and I think everyone doesn't know what's up. Maybe Little Debbie's and Oranos. Little Debbie's and Oranos. All right, here we go. And then the final peanut and jelly. Okay, peanut and jelly. Here we go. Now we do it. Let's test peanut and jelly. Remember, just focus on vocal. This is a tough one, just like it always is. This one's tough. A lot of people must be saying, man, you can't tell the difference without listening to so many parts of it. It's definitely not worth it. I know that's somebody's opinion out there, probably. I would be lying if I said I didn't think of that at some point too. You know, I definitely consider that, the fact that it's not so extremely obvious. So is it worth the money? That's a good question.
And if you ask me where I was, I'm gonna tell you. And if you ask me where I was, I'm gonna tell you I was there. if you ask me where I was, I'm gonna tell you why. And if you ask me where I was, I'm gonna tell you I was there, yeah.
All right, I'm getting close to my...
If I try to cover up, 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 if I try to cover up.
All right, I have my decision. Votes are in, votes are in.
Well, it's alright. 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 Done it, I got a feeling. I think I've been done it, I got a feeling. I think I've been done it, I got a feeling. I think I've been done it, I got a feeling. Done it, I got a feeling. I think done it, I got a feeling. I think I've been dreaming. Done it, I got a feeling. I think I've been dreaming. Done it, I got a feeling. Done it, I got a feeling. Done it, I got a feeling. Done it, I got a done it, I got a feeling. Done it, I got a feeling.
I'm going to say jelly is the custom cable. You ready? Jelly's my decision. Here we go. Jelly's the custom cable. Okay, not what I would call easy pickings, but the only one I got wrong every time is this one, and it's surprising because the print on this is burl and the print on this is also burl, but for some reason I'm able to pick out what it's doing to the vocals more easily. And what I'm picking out is the vocals just become a little more clear. That's really it. It's just they're a little more present, clear. You know, they just sound a little more in my face, and I'm able to hear that here. That's all I pick out when I'm listening to the vocals. I'm going back and forth. I hear like a more openness on the vocals. Just the same thing I heard here. Just for argument's sake, let's see if I could pick it again with these, but let's make this, you know, grommet and vomit. Let's move it around. 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 Let's go snop or snow and Norse. All right, snow and Norse. And then let's open Norse and go grass. And then let's open it again and go frost. But then let's hit previous and go snot with a lot of T's. And then let's move it around. Let's move it around. Let's move it around. Let's go drum and room. Drum and room. Okay, now let's see if this works. Worst and BFFFF. Okay, let's see if this is the thing or not. Let's randomly. Oops, gotta mute that. Sorry about that. That must have been a little loud. So let's do this test. All right, I could change it again in case anybody thinks I know stuff. I have no idea what these are. Vomity. We did vomit already, but we haven't done vomity. And Prince. Vomity and Prince. And then we got, let's make Varmity, Braff, and King. Okay. Then let's go Knight and Queen with an I after the Q, like a real dunce. Okay, Queen, and then we'll make this dunce, and we'll make this rook. Going chess now. Here we go, dunce and rook. Hopefully nobody remembers what any of these are, and if you do, we'll call this Niot, like knight, but there's an O in there that slipped in because my fingers are sausages. Now, here we go. Running from dunce. It's like I already hear the difference. Get your votes in, because this is going to be a quick one, just to see if I could tell without... Get some vocals in there somewhere. Fast forwarding a bit, fast forwarding a bit. Here we go. Just trying to confirm in my head that I keep picking the same one every place in the song. Going to a different place. That busy place. Here we go. Okay. All right, my call is dunce. I'm going to call dunce, but I also want to just hear that early place in the song, but that's my thought. So I'm curious what you guys think, and then we're going to check in 1 second, but at the moment, just get into an earlier place in the song so we can hear that verse chorusy part. Before that. Come on, get before that. Here we go. Things just seem to have a little more room to reach. Example, the vocals, I feel a little more of the transients. The bass feels a little wider. That's really all I'm picking up on. Not a lot. We're talking about 3 to 5%, but if you're going for the fact that you make the best mix you can or the best master you can, then all these parts matter. So let's see if you guys hear that now that I explained what I actually hear and why I think dunce is the custom cable. Let me get a little closer to this part here.
The hazard is the waste. The hazard is the waste lies. The hazard is the waste lies. It's running out of my space.
Switch to the NS10s real quick.
It's running out of my space. It's running out of my space. It's running out of my space. It's running out of my. It's running out of my. It's running out of my space. Morning. I had a dream last night, and I thought I could fly way up to the sky. It's running out.
And it's subtle. I'm not saying it's this huge difference because it's really not.
And if you ask me where I was, and if you ask me where I was, I'll tell you I was there. And if you ask me where I was, I'll tell you I was there. And if you ask me where I was, I'll tell you I was there. If I try to, and if you ask me where I was, I'll tell you.
All right, dunce. That's the call. Let's check it out. Here we go. Dunce, custom cable. So I managed to pick the correct one every time except for this one all 3 times. I missed this every time, and I got it right here 4 times. Okay, so that means, you know, I don't know what that is, but it's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. So, right 4 times, right 3 times. So, I basically 7 times got it right, and then these 3 I got wrong. So, certainly interesting. 7 times I got it right. That's super interesting, isn't it? I'm just trying to figure out, like, when I ponder this, exactly why I think I messed up that. I don't know, but there's no point of me even doing it again on that one, because just even if I got it right once, like, I'm not trying to improve my odds. It's just critical to note in my mind that I'm messing up, that I'm not able to get it right every time, all the time. That's really what I'm noting. Got it right every time here, got it right every time here. And I even did an extra on this to make sure, and I got it right again. So it's subtle, but there's something happening where I'm getting it right. I'm able to discern something. And I noticed that quick. I picked this quick. I just went through every part of the song to make sure that I didn't feel like it could be the other way. And, you know, that's really what that's why I jumped out and said, I think I know what it is already, because it's very obvious, it seems, on this one. You know? I mean, just for argument's sake, because I have no dog in this fight, like, it doesn't matter to me whether I get it right or wrong. I just want the best possible outcome on a mix or a master. I'll do it one more time. You know? I mean, Frolip and Rifle. Or Rufio. There we go. Frolip and Rufio. Let's see if we'll mix these up, make it where we don't know anything, and we'll go fridge and freezer. And we'll go bluebird and robin. And then we'll go Jokin. Meant to write Joker, but it didn't work. And Batman. All right. Then we'll go Mr. Freeze and Two-Face. Okay. Let's see what happens here. All right. Now we mix these all up, and then we'll return to Pearl Jam and Blind Melon. Okay, Pearl Jam versus Blind Melon. Let's see what happens. Nobody knows what order these. I've been moving them around constantly while I keep changing them, so no one must know anything. And then we'll go deep. We'll go Porch and Changes, or Change. What is it? Change or Change is my favorite song on the Blind Melon album. That's an amazing album, by the way. Anybody who's not familiar with that Blind Melon album should listen to it. It's phenomenal. The one with No Rain on it, but the entire album, like Tones of Home, phenomenal song. But I don't feel the sun coming out today. It's staying in. It's gonna find another way. Yeah. That's Changes, or Change. Yeah, I think it's Changes. So good. Amazing song. Lord knows I've been away. Great song. All right. Terrible rendition of it, but great song that I just did. They did an amazing version of it, obviously. Here we go. Changes or Change. I can't remember what the title is, but either way. And Porch. Let's do it. Rock it. Here we go. Just curious if I get it right again, because then we really know I'm hearing it. I mean, I already have my idea. Get your votes in, votes in. Whoops, wrong test. This is the one we're doing. Here we go.
Don't pick up my phone. Cause I like to be home. And if you ask me where I was, if you cause I like to be cause I like to be home cause I like to be home cause I like to be home and if you ask me where I was gonna tell you cause I like to be home cause I like to be home cause I like to be home.
All right, getting it. I lowered the volume a little. I'm checking at different volumes. All right, closing in the last second. Get some vocals in this thing. Vocal me up. Here we go, vocals.
Warning, the hazard is the
I'm going with changes. Changes to me feels like the custom cable. Let's see if you guys picked it. Here we go. Checking it out. Changes. Got it wrong. That's interesting, isn't it? Did I just get lucky? Now I'm thinking maybe I just got lucky all those times. You know, maybe the difference I'm hearing is hit or miss based on the moment in time in the song. Again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not sponsored, or I'm not trying to make it where I get it right. I just want to know if I can, so I know if it's worth keeping these things. So to me, there's a lot of money on the line here. You know, I mean, $1,400 worth of cables to determine if I keep them, and if I don't, I get to save all that money. But if I can't hear a difference, it's not worth it. And if I can, it's worth the money. That's how I look at it. 5% difference, I've paid more for less. You know, I've paid more money to get a 5% difference before on other pieces of gear and things. So what's the difference if it's a cable or not? It doesn't matter if it's gear or a cable to me. 5% is 5%. I'll take it, but I don't know if I'm getting it.
don't pick up. I
mean, I hear now, that's the terrible thing about knowing what it is. As soon as you know what it is, you hear it, and it's awful. Like, that's the worst. That's why I do this. That's why I go troll and I go bowl, you know, and I mix them around. I don't want to know what it is. That's the last thing I want is actually to know what this is. So it's like lolly and Pac. Pack. Pac. B-I-G. Nelly. Furtado, obviously. Here we go. Let's hit it up with Bark and Mark. All right, now let's see what's up. Let's do, just in case anybody's got it, you won't after this, we're gonna go bully and nerd. Okay. Let's go steak, veggies. But if you guys know me at all, you know that I'm a steak fan, so I'm probably gonna pick steak no matter what. So let's make it things I like burger and sour. Yeah, here we go. Let's hit it up.
Don't pick up.
I'm gonna go with sour out the gate. I think it's sour, but let's see if I hold up with this on another part of the song. Just sounds more open. Sour for the win. Let's see, is sour the custom cable? No, it's not. This tells you right there, for me at least, that I can't pick it. And if I manage to pick the right one every time, I was planning on disclosing the cable manufacturer, because to me it is the kind of thing where I'm not trying to hurt anybody's business, and I'm not trying to make anybody's life harder. So my goal is I'm never going to talk smack about any company ever. But what I could tell you is, if I can't pick it every time blind, then there's no real truth to this. As far as my perception of right now, there's no truth to one being better than the other that I can decide. So all I care about is whether or not there's a real difference that I can hear. You know, I can't determine if you can hear it or not. I'm not you. I don't have your ears. You don't have mine. You don't have my setup. You know, we don't have each other's speakers set up, everything. So it's really hard for me to determine whether you can hear it or not. All I know is, to me, I cannot hear it every time. I thought I could, but I just missed the last two. So, you know, on a quick, without like listening for a while, I missed them both. I'll do it one more time, because this is how much I want. I mean, now that I missed it so many times, I don't think it really matters. But since we're in it to win it and wonk it. And let's move these around. Whoops. Move this around. Move this around, move this around, move this around. Brong and Narc. Congo. Mine. Flip them around, and we keep flipping, we're flipping, we're flipping. We're flipping, we're not flipping, we're flipping. Nerf and Puddle. Okay, here we go. Let's get back to a part in the song where there's things happening. Here we go.
Feel all alone in this world. I dream but no good world. Gotta show. Feel all alone. Feel all alone in this world. Feel all alone in this. Feel all alone in this world.
Here we go. Moving on to later in the song.
'Cause I like to be alone. 'Cause I like to be alone. 'Cause I like to be home. 'Cause I like to be alone. 'Cause I like to be alone. 'Cause I like to be.
If I get this right or wrong will determine if I'm approximately 50% or what, because that's, I'm hovering the 50% number, it feels like.
Like the attention. It's funny you mention it. I got a feeling. I think I'm in trouble.
I think I've done 13 tests. I think that's about right. So this would be the 14th one. I think I got like 7 of them right. And, you know, let's see what happens here.
Like the attention. It's funny you mention it. I got a like the attention. Like the attention. It's funny. Like the attention.
And is 50% enough to spend this much money on a cable? Probably not, in my humble opinion. Puddle sounds bigger to me, slightly. You know, I don't know if it's just in my head or what. We'll see if I'm right. No, I'm not so sure. Now I'm not so sure at all. Now I'm flipping back. I think Nerf is actually better, which to me says it all right there. It's so unclear. It's so slight that I can't even tell. See here, it sounds like puddle. Bigger. A little less of a cover. Let's hear. Different speaker rope. Puddle. I'm going with my original guess. Puddle feels right. Puddle. Let's see if you are the custom cable. I'll go one other place in the song and then I'm gonna see. So votes in. Yeah, it sounds a little smaller. big. Slightly cut. Let's go with puddle. Puddle is the custom cable. Let's see. Puddle custom cable. Huh, okay. What does that tell me? It tells me that, you know, I lost track of the numbers, but maybe that's 8 out of 14, so just over 50%. You know, I remember I was at 7 and then I missed a couple, so, and it was at 7 for 11, I think, so we're probably at like 14 now, and it's maybe 8 for 14. I don't think that's particularly a sure thing, you know? It doesn't feel like it's a certainty. It feels like either one is probably fine. If you don't have the back and forth to do, you're not really hearing the difference. If I can't get it right every time, you know, with my setup and the Trinov and my speakers, and, you know, again, this could be today too. Like I said, it's particularly late, or early, depending on how you look at it, but I've been working all day, so it's possible my ears are totally fried today, but, you know, I had taken a break before I started, so I thought I was fresh, I thought I was clear, I had a cup of coffee, I was ready to go, my ears felt fine, you know, and now they're pretty beat up on this song at the moment, but I feel like I achieved what I was going for with the test, which is, can I pick it or not, and is it a guess or is it not a guess? You know, mud and Nimbo. And you know what I'm doing already. I really want to know if I can hear a difference, man. So maybe I'll just do one more to clinch it. If I lose this, it's a no for sure. Yellow and lime. Okay, yellow and lime, and we've mixed them up a lot significantly, so hopefully nobody knows which is which. And in case you don't, grommet and stoop, or stuff. Here we go, with a 1F. Perfect. Stuff with spelled like weird. So we'll call this stoof and grommet. Let's do it. You ready? Last time. Wow, I'm really getting tired. I can't believe I just flipped to the other side. I didn't look, but still, just in case my subconsciously saw it, I gotta change these again. So, YR you tired? Tidied. Why are you tidied? Why are and you tired? Let's do this again. Okay. Smile and frown. Okay. Let's see which of these two it is. Dork and stork. Here we go. Let's hit it.
I had a dream last night. I had a dream.
I really want to make sure I hear it. And the truth is, if it was this, if it's not like jumping out, oh, that's way better, then it's really like just it's too little to even care this much.
If I try to cover up, gonna go. If I try to cover up, if I try to cover up, if I try to cover up, if I try.
Dork feels right to me. As I switch speaker profiles, it gets clearer, or some of them are more clear, some of them are less clear on the difference.
I got a feeling I've been dreaming. I got a feeling I got a feeling I got a feeling I got a feeling.
Like the cube function, which is like the oritone thing, hardly audible, the difference.
I got a feeling I got a feeling I think I've been. I got a feeling I got a feeling I got a feeling I think I've been. I got a feeling I got a feeling I got a feeling I got a feeling I got a feeling.
I'm going with dork. Dork feels right. Votes in, votes in, votes in, votes in, votes in. 8 out of 14 is our current stats at the moment. Votes in, votes in, votes in. Going once. This part of the song, it doesn't feel so the same. Let's see if it feels the same a little later. Going with dork. Is dork the custom cable? We shall find out right now. Here, votes are in. Here we go. Is dork the custom cable? That's what I believe. Let's find out. Nope. Dork is not. Dork is the Mogami. I mean, if that doesn't say it right there, I don't know what does, man. It's unfortunate that you can't get as big of an increase in difference as I would like for having to spend that much money. You'd figure you should get a pretty good increase in quality, and I'm just not getting it, man. I wish I was getting it, because who wouldn't want an extra 5%? I mean, I would. So, just not getting it. Cloud, saber, dugout, move them around, bat, Molly, Wop. Okay, Molly and Wop. I mean, I think this is, for anyone curious, you should do your own tests. Let me just reiterate that, because I could be totally wrong, and maybe your ears are way better and you could hear the difference, and or your gear is better, or your speakers are better, or your Trinov setup is better, or maybe any of these are true. I don't know, but I certainly am having a hard time discerning the difference from the cable. And I want you to know something else. I was sure there was a difference before I did the blind test. When I heard the two, when I knew which was which, I was like, oh yeah, there's a difference. I can hear it. It's more open. It's bigger. It's brighter. And now when I'm doing this, it just proves that we have such a bias built into our human psyche when we think things are better, that even if you try to tell yourself you don't think so, it's built in there, man. It's like we subconsciously want it to be better. At least that's my take on it. Yet again, it's not clear at all. I mean, it's vaguely clear. So, if you're following the records, I was 8 for 14, and now I'm 8 for 15.
Yeah, I like the attention. It's funny you mention it. I got a feeling. I think I've been dreaming again. Yeah, I like the attention. It's funny you mention it. Yeah, I like the attention. 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 Yeah, I like the feeling. I think I've been feeling. I think I've been dreaming again. Feeling. I think I've been dreaming
I have an idea of my choice. I think it's bed. And I'm not talking about my bedtime. I mean, I think bed is the custom. I'm gonna go with bed. Let's see if it works. Bed, custom cable. The last final test. Let's see. Bed is the custom cable. Okay, so 9 for 16, I think is where I'm at. Just over 50%. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't say it's worth it, because even then, it's like I'm listening so carefully to try and find the difference, and I'm only able to pick it out 50% of the time, or a little more than that. That's not enough. It should be every time, or it's not worth it for me, in my experience here. I mean, if I missed one, maybe, okay, we're all allowed to make a mistake, but I'm not batting so well over here. So that says something to me. Now, again, I don't want this to change your opinion if you believe in this stuff, but I think that at this point in my life, at this point in time where my ears are, at this point in time, based on my setup and everything I just played through it, I cannot say that there is a definitive difference based on the testing I just did of 16 times trying it and only getting it right 9 times. I mean, I think I did enough tests where I can really definitively say I cannot guess right. So before I dip out, let's just real quick go between the summed version and the non-summed version. So, in other words, these right here are both the, you know, this is my analog summing tests, and these are the latte through the chain back through the latte tests. Let's see how much of a difference we hear on these. Now, I tried to level match as best I could because the print through the burl is a little louder than the print through the latte. That's really, you could adjust the latte, but I didn't. I just level matched afterwards. So rather than make the latte louder, because I sort of liked where the latte was sitting when I ran a couple things through it, so I didn't want to mess with it. So let's just check it out. Like I said, which one was it? Bed. Okay, so since this one's the custom, for the purpose of this test, let's just go custom. And then which one was it over here? This one, jelly, is the custom. Okay. So that's the custom cable. So this is the custom, and then these are the Mogams. Mogami. Okay. Again, you know the whole thing. I'm not sponsored. Nobody's paying me to do any of this, and I don't get to keep anything free by doing this. So this is all the most honest take you will find on this. This is just for my own benefit of what I am going to keep or not. So here we go. Let's run. Let's just hear the custom versus the custom cable. I'm just curious. Actually, let's start with the Mogami. I'm curious what that's about, and then we'll go to the other one. So this. So that's Mogami, latte, latte, and then this would be Mogami summing. Analog summed. I'll put them next to each other so it's easier to do this test. Just in case I run that like that. Here we go. There's a difference. Some of that's coming from the fact that it's one's printed through the burl and the other one isn't, but there's definitely a difference. All right, let's listen to the custom versus the custom. Remember, green is the analog summed and yellow is the non-summed in the box. Fast forward. That's interesting. It's not the biggest difference. There's a width that's maybe apparent in the analog summing. I hate using these terms because it's so hard to describe sound in words like adjectives. It's really difficult to do because everybody has their own definitions of all these things. So some people say depth, some people say width. It's really hard for me to put a finger on what it is. All I could hear is like, I hear the different sounds of the different converters that are feeding my summing. Does that make sense? In other words, my apogee converters have a specific sound, and I'm hearing those combined with the Burl converters, combined with the latte conversion, and that's all coming together to create this analog summed sound, and that has a sound to it that's different than everything being summed in the box, than all running through the latte. There's a difference in sound. I don't know if I would say one's better or worse. And typically I would say it's much thinner, smaller, whatever. But I guess what I realized is the summing's not the thing giving me that magic that I thought it was giving me. It's more the chain after it, potentially, like the Neve Master Bus processor, which has both compression and limiting on it, and the stereo field editor on it. I mean, it's got a feedback or feed forward compression style. Like, you know, it's on feedback at the moment. Things like that. I mean, it's that and the SSL Fusion, which, you know, I typically run. The way I call all buttons in, I have everything in on it, and, you know, cranked. A lot of stuff's cranked. One day I'll show you guys my settings on that thing, but I like to use it. It's a good way to describe how I'm using it. I use it. So I'm running this through this chain, and then I'm running back in through the latte on the yellow, and it sounds pretty good. It doesn't sound thin or small. It just sounds like I don't have that, all the flavors being added from all the different converters. That's the best way to describe the difference I hear here. Interesting. A lot of people will tell you that summing through an analog console does a lot. That's why a lot of guys still use SSLs, for that reason, that the console, with all its, you know, what it's adding by running through it, does a lot. And, you know, I hear something is happening, but I actually have a feeling that's more of a result of the converters than the Neve 5060 itself. It's just my opinion, though. Sorry about that volume there. I had two tracks playing at once. Here we go.
Warning. Warning.
Let's get to a better part here.
Ahead of your base. Ahead of your base. Warning. Ahead of your base. Running out of my space. Ahead of your base. Ahead of your base. Ahead of your base.
Let's hear the Mogamis against each other again.
Ahead of your AES. Ahead of your AES. Ahead of your AES. Wanted out of my space. Morning. Ahead of your AES. Wanted out of my space.
I mean, personal taste, right? But I'm actually starting to prefer the non-summed version. Can't explain why. It just feels like preferable to me. And this may be, there may be a bias here too. So let's just do that for the sake of biased answers. Let's change what is what so that I don't know. That'll be fun. It's a good way to wrap this up. We're gonna make them all pinkish. Now, because they're this purplish pinkish color, I have no idea what's what. All I know is what's custom and what's Mogami, but we're going to mix them up. We're going to do a little shuffle waffle. We're going to do a little 3-card Monty. We're going to do a little, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Follow the ball. Where's the cup? Where's the cup? Here we go. Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, so now we got Mogamis next to each other, customs next to each other. So at least we know what's Mogami and what's not, but we don't have any idea which of these is summed and which of these is not summed. Analog summed versus in the box summing. So this will give us a good sense of, we'll just pick two. Like I'll use the both customs or both. Let's use the Mogamis because at the moment I'm not planning on keeping the custom cables. So let's just listen to the Mogamis back and forth and see if we could pick. And then I'll do the same thing with the customs. Here we go. I don't remember what that was set at, so it doesn't matter. Here we go.
Ahead of your AES. Ahead of your AES. Ahead of your AES.
There's a clearer difference in this than there ever was with the cables because this is a significant difference. It's either, 24 converters compared to one, compared to summed in the box and just the DA of the latte, and then back into the latte. So technically, two stereo converters, two sets of stereo converters. But, there's a difference because there's a sound to the summing.
Ahead of your AES. Ahead of your AES.
I tell you the truth, I almost know based on the sound that this is not the summed version. This is
Ahead of your AES. Ahead of your AES.
this sounds more directional, like more centered, more focused. And for whatever reason, I'm preferring that in the moment today. And I've talked about this before. You will fluctuate your decisions, your tastes, your likes, your dislikes. It's actually a good reason why I don't like selling gear, because your tastes change, man. And then all of a sudden something that sounded weird that you hate, now you love and you want back. So here we go.
Ahead of your AES. Ahead of your AES.
This sounds like a bunch of the Apogee converters adding up to this, because I have 16 of them and they have a sound, and that's what's happening here. That's what I hear.
Ahead of your AES.
So this is definitely the latte. In the box, summing, and then latte. So in the box, everything's summed, then it runs through the latte. That's what this is. I'll almost guarantee it. Let's hear if the custom cable sounds better than this. I'm curious. Let's see if we could tell which one it is. So this is the one I'm thinking is the latte. Let's see. Is this a latte? Here we go. Flipping to the other side. Sum in the box latte. Yep. So this is the summed in the box and then the latte. So I did get it right. I mean, it's so obvious. Whereas this other one, WBC, and it's not summed in the box. This one says summed in the box. This one is not. If you click here, you can see it's an analog summing. So, yep, I was correct. And I would get that right 100 times out of 100, because you could hear the difference so clearly from where I'm sitting anyway. And given my setup and my sound source and everything. And I tell you the truth, I kind of preferred it I didn't pick it just because I could hear it. I actually think it sounds better. Like when you don't know which is which, it's kind of a clear decision, which is interesting to me. I never thought I would not, like, I never thought that I would change my mind on thinking analog summing is key, but I'm changing my mind on it at the moment. And we do that sometimes. Your tastes change, your ears change, people change their mind, and you're allowed to. Give yourself permission to change your mind, all right? Nobody needs to stick on some, hill that they believe in forever. That's not normal, especially for people who make art for a living. So
Ahead of your AES. Ahead of your AES. Ahead of your AES.
I really do like that. Okay, now I didn't look at what these were, but let's mix them around just in case so that we really don't know what they are.
Ahead of your AES. 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 Ahead of your AES.
I already know which one is analog summed and which isn't.
Had a dream last night that I thought I could fly away. I had a dream last night that I thought I could fly up into the sky. And if you ask me where I was,
Go to that part of the song.
it's alright, 'cause well, it's alright, 'cause I don't care. I like the attention. It's funny you mention. I got a feeling. I think well, it's alright, 'cause well, it's alright.
I mean, there's things that sound more present on this version than this version, and that focused is how I describe it. It's also just like a general clarity, like the snare sounds more clear on this version, things like that. I'm hearing everything. There's sort of more top end on this, on everything, including the snare, and that's on this version, and that's the latte. I'll guarantee it. I could just tell. So this first track is going to be latte, not analog summed. It will be summed in the box through the latte. That's the first one. Let's hear it. Let's check it out. Here we go. Obviously we know it's custom cable, but yeah, see, sum in the box latte, and this one analog sum. It's so obvious, but I never realized how obvious. And it's not a negative obvious. It's actually a positive obvious, the way I look at it now. And I used to not look at it this way. Now I'm glad I sort of figured this out, because if you know my battle and struggle with wanting to mix in the box and be happy, I always thought, man, I'm really far from that, because I love analog summing. And then I love my chain, and I love printing through, my Braille converters, all this stuff. Whereas now, now I'm sort of considering that my tastes have changed, and now I'm willing to remove analog summing from the picture so that I just have the latte sending signal into my chain. So in other words, I've removed the summing. For example, let's say I might go down this path in the future, removing the summing and then just running through my chain of master bus processor, SSL Fusion, back into the latte. I may do that, because as far as I could tell, I like the sound better at the moment in this given sound source and this given everything. The summing's not doing nothing for me, really. It's changing the sound, but not in a way that I'm happy with or that I prefer, if that makes any sense.
Well, it's alright, 'cause I don't care.
That just sounds so present and clear and good. And then
Well, it's alright, 'cause I don't care. I like the attention. It's funny you
Doesn't sound bad. It's just things sound smaller and less focused, less clear, less present. I mean, not everything, but a lot of the elements.
Well, it's alright, 'cause I don't care.
Now, let's just go back to, this was the one, and I believe it was this one. Let's see which of these is. So we know the first one is the latte sum, you know, it's summed in the box. And then what's this? I think it's, this one was the latte also. Yeah, this is the latte. Okay, so this is the latte, like we said. Yep, see some in the box. I'm sorry, some in the box up here. Yep, it's like not even a question to me. Now, once I do, so let's just compare this to this, the two corners. Here we go. Just not enough of a difference to justify, like we said before, and we basically came to the same conclusion before. But the final test to wrap it up for the night, let's make sure I determine out of these which the good cable is. Oh, we already know good cable, bad cable, but I mean, not bad cable. Mogami's still pretty good cables. They're just an arm and a leg cheaper. So final test, drop and drip. Here we go. Hold on, we got to mix them up so we don't know what's what, and then just gonna mix them. Here we go. All right. Loose and goose. Here we go. Goose. Let's figure it out. Which do we prefer for the game? They're so close, just as we thought. I was just curious if my ears like rested from hearing something I clearly could tell the difference with, but they haven't. Like there's no difference. I wouldn't say none, but none that I can hear, none that I can quantify and make a valuable decision based on, really. I mean, it's so close. Man, that is so similar. So similar. It's crazy. I'm thinking Goose is the better cable, the custom cable. Goose is my choice. Let's hear if it is in 1 second. It just it goes back and forth. There's such a non-definitive answer for this. It's crazy. I'm rewinding to where the vocals are. Boy, this kind of testing really takes a lot out of you because you're trying not to make the wrong move. I'm also very aware that anything I say, you guys are going to potentially take to heart. And I don't want to give you information that I don't fully believe in 1,000%. That's why I'm being as open and honest as I can with the test, showing you the ones I get right, showing you the ones I get wrong. None of this is staged. None of it's practiced.
Last night that I thought I could fly. Dream last night that I thought I could. Dream last night. Dream last night.
Now I'm thinking loose is the answer.
Dream last night.
And just the fact that I fluctuate so much means, man, it's the farthest thing from certain.
If I try to cover up, 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 if I try to, if I try to cover up, if I try to.
Now I'm leaning towards loose, man. Loose is where I'm at now. I'm going to say loose is the answer. Loose is the custom cable. Here we go. Loose is the custom cable. Okay, so what did I do? I was at, that's how tired I am. It's hard for me to even remember. I know it was over 50%. So what was it? 9 for 16. And now I'm at what? 10 for 17. So that's where I'm at. I think those were the numbers. Yeah, I think that's where we were at. Interesting. 10 for 17. I can't tell you that it's a sure thing, but I can tell you that every once in a while I pick up on some part of something that's helping, but a lot of it, as soon as I am thinking I know what it is, and then I go to different parts of the song, I'm a little less sure. It's not like I can keep confirming, I wouldn't swear on it. If I had to bet my life every single time I picked one of these, I would want to play another game. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that I definitely 1,000% can hear it every time where I'm positive, because I'm not. So I hope that helps anybody who's looking to think about whether or not cables are something you should consider in the super high-end department, because I think if you're searching for that extra 5%, there's ways you could probably get it, and maybe this is one of them. Try it out for yourself. Don't take anyone's word for it, especially anyone who, might be being sponsored or paid for the whatever, because, a lot of times people just see the dollar signs, and in my case, the way I feel is too important. Last thing I'll ever do is talk bad about a company, but at the same time, I cannot pitch a product saying it's something great and it will help for sure if it's not something that made a big difference to me that I could tell, 100% of the time, or 95% of the time, or 92 or something. I mean, super high. It would have to be almost every single time I got it right for me to be like, yep, I can hear it for sure. But if I can't bet, you know, serious on it, like if I wouldn't bet the farm on it, you know what I'm saying? Then is it really something I can definitely guarantee here? No. Then is it worth it? I don't know. That's up to you. You got to decide. So keep in mind also, tastes change, years change, everything develops. You develop. It's a constantly moving target. So maybe in a few years I'll feel different. Maybe if my setup changes, I'll feel different. I don't know. But at the moment where I'm at now, using everything I'm using and the gear I'm using and what's feeding it, this is where I have to stand on it at the moment. So I hope you enjoyed it. This is a particularly long-winded video, but if anybody's seriously considering a purchase like this, maybe this helped you. I hope it did. Leave a comment, leave a like, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. I'm going to bed. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. Talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.